tell me about some difficulties you're going through right now?
I'm not ready. Difficulties? Well, I'm currently homeless. I don't know where I'm gonna live after next week because I'm from Shanghai, China. My family are self-quarantined and there's a travel ban. The travel ban is still in place till probably October. So if I do go home right now, I won't be able to return back to the States for next semester or summer. So housing-wise, I'm really unsure what's gonna happen. I think I did apply for EMORY's extended stay, and I think they're gonna try to find us a place to live on campus. I have a personal difficulties because I received bilateral meniscus surgery of both of my knees in January, so I have somewhat limited mobility. I would need an accommodation that does not require climbing down the stairs every day, related to squatting or carrying heavy objects. Anyways, besides housing, my family are doing okay. My mom was here in January and her flight got canceled because of the travel ban, so we had to book her another flight that goes from Atlanta to Shanghai. But at first it was transferring in Korea, but when we got to the airport, we learned that Korean government just issued a visa requirement for all Chinese citizens, no matter we were transferring or not. So we had to cancel that flight and rebook another one that transfers New York and goes from New York to Shanghai as direct flight. So it was a little bit of anxiety and stress regarding that, but she's back home safe. Before my mom was able to come home, my dad just stayed at home for 18 days straight because of self-quarantine. And he did go out twice to visit my grandma and get groceries, but he just stayed at home, watched movies, slept. I think he developed a little toothache from diet, kind of imbalance, and probably just lack of activity, but he wasn't able to get it checked out until early March because of lack of dentists. There's just no dentists around in the city. My mom also needed to see a dentist. She made an appointment in December but had to cancel it because she was coming here. She wasn't able to see anyone until now. I haven't heard back about that. But overall, people are not gathering at all in Shanghai. Everyone just trying to stay in their own home, and every time we leave the neighborhood or try to come back, they'll give you a temperature check, and they also spray you head to toe for disinfection, and then you need to like disinfect yourself anyway. So my mom would spray herself from her hat all the way down to the bottom of her shoes, just for safety. I'm really glad that the condition in Shanghai is under control. China overall, we have had very few new cases in the past 2 weeks, so that's under control. In January, when China was in this very big crisis stage, I was really concerned because I just feel like there's nothing I can do to help my family who are trapped in a city. My mom and I went to 5 different Walmarts in Atlanta just trying to look for face masks, but they were all out. And we literally went to Home Depot trying to look for a face mask. I didn't get any. We just ordered some online. They were very expensive. I feel helpless in some ways just because there's really nothing I can do from here. I'm concerned about my family. I mean, my grandparents. My grandma, she's in her 80s and she has Alzheimer's, so she just can't be home on her own, and there's nothing I really can do to help her. Academic-wise, I really like my classes this semester, and it makes me sad that I be able to attend those classes in person. I have a couple friends who are graduating, and I don't know if I get to see them much before they leave. It's just like there's a lot of, goodbyes that we're not ready for. and we didn't expect it as well. I am trying to prepare for my honors thesis next year, so I was planning to stay at Emory through summer and trying to prepare for my thesis, and I don't know how that's gonna work depending on if my lab is gonna open or not. I'm not local, but I've received a lot of help. A lot of my local friends texted me, asked me if I needed anything. That was really heartwarming. I feel like Emory community has been really supportive. I mean, we created spreadsheets and try to give resources. Some Chinese professor also like offered her office space for Chinese students to do storage. So I really appreciate everyone's effort in trying to help each other out in this really difficult time, and it makes me feel like that we're not alone. So
Yeah.
So that was the story of my friend Grace Shen. She is a junior, double majoring in bio and psychology. As I was preparing for this, I was really amazed to see how fast and how eager these students want their story to be heard and to be a part of this time capsule. So I'm very, very thank you for all those who participated in this and who are part of this. These are going to be in the forms of writings, which I'll be reading out loud on their behalf, and some are videos and some are recordings. These are personal stories that these students willingly and anonymously have shared, so please enjoy their presence as this is a piece of their story. So the first one is from Teresa Wang. She is a senior, double majoring in finance and psychology. This is her story. So as a senior, a lot of us are pretty sentimental on the issue. We didn't get the chance to say goodbye early, and now that the semester ended abruptly after the spring break, we realized that there might be people we would never see again. It's hard to say goodbye without saying goodbye, you know what I mean? Yeah girl, I feel you. Like, I haven't said goodbye to my friends yet, and one is already in Canada that I didn't even say goodbye. I don't know. Yeah, it's hard, yeah. And continues, she goes. Also, racism is a main disturbance for a lot of Chinese students. I was taking graph photo at Emory Village and someone driving by just yelled, "Get Corona" at us. How rude. Like, I don't understand why people do that. So rude. And moving on, it says, I got approved for housing and I'm waiting to be relocated. So Emory's been really understanding of international students especially, and for those who cannot go back due to financial circumstances. So they have issued that they will relocate students, but I heard from my friend, I think even from yesterday, they still haven't gotten the notice where they will be located. So everything's still on edge, and you know, today is already Wednesday and class is starting in very soon. So I really hope things will be situated very fast. So she said, it's a pain. I need to move out, move in, move out again in like 2 months. I can't. I'm so sorry for you, girl. Like, that's a lot. Yeah. So the second one is from anonymous senior, double majoring in psychology and human health. It says, I'm actually mentally strong in general, but this week has changed a lot of things for me. I was supposed to go on study abroad on the psychology program to the British Isle, but I think it got cancelled because I was on campus to just add summer classes just in case it gets cancelled, but I noticed my balance was negative, which means the school gave me money. I clicked on it because I was confused, and it showed that the deposit for study abroad was refunded. I was mad because no one had told me or emailed me anything about study abroad status. I feel like I could have done something about my plans more quickly if I had known. I needed an extra class to finish my major and graduate. I couldn't fit one due to my schedule, so I opted for summer study abroad, but now I don't know how I'm graduating. I might have to come back for the fall or hope there's an online class during the fall if the coronavirus is still around. And because I thought the trip was still on, I didn't apply for housing or for FAFSA for financial aid because I obviously didn't think I needed to stay another semester. I don't mind graduating later. I just could have done something if it was brought to my attention quicker. The only study abroad trip that were for sure canceled were the ones that were going to China, South Korea, and Italy. I don't know if that was all, but not for my trip. If the school had, told us something earlier, then we could have made that preventative action a little faster, but I mean, it's what it is. I'm sorry. The third one is from Alexis Castillo. She's my roommate and she's a junior majoring in psychology. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And it says, coronavirus has taken a toll on everyone. I think that a lot of first gen and low income students are really struggling with everything. I'm in the FLI, that is the first gen and low income community. So she says, I'm in the FL chat and so many students have been concerned about homelessness and food insecurities. I think that a positive that has come out of this is that many people are coming together to provide support and resources to those in need. However, I think that the idea of everyone taking online classes is scary. Girl, I'm so glad that one of my psych classes has turned the exams to online exams, so now it's an open book exam. I mean, yay! But it's still terrifying for other classes that still haven't made that transition yet. And it says, people's life at home may not be all sunshines and rainbows. I don't have a room at my house right now as my parents use that money to pay for bills. Now I will be going to school online, looking for a job back home, and sleeping on the couch. A lot of people leave their home to go to college to not only get an education, but in order to escape the realities of their home lives. Oh, I'm gonna cry. Now that the economy is taking a hit, everyone is fearful. People's fear right now comes from not knowing what will happen to their friends and families, not knowing how their grades will be this semester, not knowing if they will survive the virus. There's a lot of uncertainty right now, and it's hard to focus and keep moving forward. That is why supporting and finding good in even the littlest thing is so important right now. Also, long distance sucks. I didn't even get a proper goodbye to my boyfriend or friends. This is so hard because not only your school life is affected, but your home life. And yeah, she loves her family, but I know how hard it will be for her to go back home. And yeah, just like it says, it's so tough. It's so tough. The next one is from Vanessa Kim, another one of my great friends. Thank you so much. She's double majoring in economics and public health. She says, for the past few weeks, toilet papers have become a new currency. Okay, let's pause here for a second. I understand that people's defense mechanisms are different, and maybe seeing a pile of, toilet papers, gives you security in life. But for those who are stocking on guns and ammunition, I saw this on the news. I think it's more prominent in California right now. But like, hello, please, just chill, okay? Another note. Hoarding and stocking up, okay, if that gives you peace of mind, sure, go ahead. But there's information that I got recently. When you go to a supermarket, apparently there is a WIC sign on some of the tags. So if you see that tag, you should find alternative items to purchase, because this specifically gives priority to pregnant, postpartum, and breastfeeding women, infants, and children who meet the low-income guidelines. So if all the products from that section is gone, they cannot find alternative that they can support themselves. So please, if you do see this sign, please go find a different item. Thank you so much. And you can find more information on this link, so please go check more out and be educated. So Vanessa says, for the past few weeks, toilet papers became a new currency. Zoom took over the classroom learnings and social isolation turned into a global trend. As astounding as it is to see how the tiny little virus has impacted every single aspect of our lives, I am grateful to learn there exists the overwhelming amount of humanity and support that we are willing to share with one another. Knowing the commencement ceremony is no longer there to celebrate the past 4 years of hard work in college, I cannot deny the mixture of feeling I'm going through at the moment. Who cannot go on that walk. It's such a monumental time in your life, and you spent 4 freaking years, in college, and I feel like that should be celebrated for reals. And that's gone. And I just received an email from college. They're saying that they're very apologetic about it, but yeah, there's nothing they can do. It has to be canceled. Yeah. And she says, yet I'm again hopeful we learn a lot more from this chaotic experience, which may reflect upon later. Yeah. Next one is from Anonymous Senior, double majoring in economics and public policy analysis. It says, ever since the school canceled all classes, President Trump proposed cancellation of parties of 10 plus people. I felt long lost peace and a clearing mind all of a sudden. My apartment is next to the woods and in a relatively isolated location. When all economic activities stopped, everything became quiet. It seems like this kind of life will last for about 6 months, I think. In fact, this will allow me to spend some time focusing on myself, although this solitude can sometimes be lonely. It is an excellent opportunity to understand yourself, to explore yourself, and to improve yourself. Something I think of doing is reading books, thinking of general life goals, and organizing daily life to be more productive. I guess I started to enjoy living in an environment without any noise every day. I went for a walk in the woods during the day to enjoy the spring while appreciating the moonlight shone down on the dune at night. Wow, so poetic. Which I very much appreciate. At the end of the day, you have to accept the reality. You have to fight your anxiety. I'm not really worried about myself, but I know the situation may not get better anytime soon. I am concerned about those who are affected significantly by the coronavirus outbreak, such as restaurants, workers, medical staff, and small business owners. I am praying for their safety and well-being. I hope the government's newly enacted policy will help them as much as possible. I also think this is a time that we must show compassion and consideration for the others and the communities. Reach out to friends, but through Zoom, social media, and all these virtual outlets. Thank you. Be kind to others. I am confident that we will come together as a nation, stronger and closer after this outbreak. I am with you all. Yeah. Very hopeful and very encouraging. Thank you. The next one is from Lillian Peng. She is a senior, double majoring in international studies and psychology. It says, as an international student, it seems like I've been on the battlefield twice. When I heard this, I couldn't imagine what these students are really going through. Like for her especially, she went back home and coming back here, basically America is going through what China and Korea has been going through for the past 2 months. And I really can't believe that America really didn't enact it fast enough. Yeah, when Korea was testing 10,000 people a day, America total until now, it only tested 14,000 people. Like, this is kind of ridiculous. Like, we need to get better at this. Like, healthcare system, I was super disappointed, and something needs to change. Really, seriously, something needs to change. So continue on, she says, I was in China for the winter break when coronavirus first outbroke in Wuhan. The situation was evolving so fast and I changed my flight schedule back to the US early. I was in the airport on Chinese New Year's Eve. That was an unforgettable experience. So I asked her more about why this was an unforgettable experience, and she said that she went back home to be reunited with her family, but because of this, she had to sit at the airport alone, with other strangers, to watch the firework alone when she was supposed to be around with her family. And just imagine that, like, how heartbreaking is that? And yeah, I felt so bad, yeah. So continue on, she said, back in the US, again, the virus eventually broke out now, and Asians are facing discriminations out of nowhere. I was heartbroken. This is a challenging time for all human beings, and we should all take actions to face and conquer this hardship together instead of blaming each other. Yeah, this blame, you know what I found out today? Apparently Spanish flu or the Spanish pandemic wasn't even originated from Spain. It outbroke in Kansas during the war, and soldiers were sent to territories during the war, and Spain was the first country that declared this virus. So US just coined it Spanish flu, and I was like, that is so unfair. Spain is always gonna have this association with Spanish flu when it didn't even originate from there. And Trump recently said this is a Chinese flu. Like, hello? I I understand that this, this one on the other hand originated from China, Wuhan, but it has a name. Let's give it a little more respect. Continuing on, she says, there's no need to panic, but we all should do our part to overcome this challenge. It is sad to have my senior spring break locked in my apartment. I wish I could go out with my friends and I wish I could be with my families in this hard time. But I also know the responsible things to do right now is to stay home and be mindful of self-hygiene. Things will get better so long we keep our faith and hope and keep loving each other. I'm so glad that we have hope and love in this time. So the following is from Tatiana Bennett. She is a psychology major, and here is her story.
So going through this pandemic period is definitely difficult, and I think that the biggest reason of why it's so difficult is all these changes are being made, and they're being made super fast. Classes are being switched to being online. All the underclassmen were kicked out of campus. There's just so many different changes being made. A lot of facilities are closing. It's really difficult for me, especially. I'm extremely extroverted, and being in college is a really social thing. So social distancing has been a really difficult thing. I think that, we're all just trying to get used to like the way that things are right now, because we don't know how long it's gonna be. We're just taking it one day at a time, and like my friends and I have all been supportive of each other, and like it's just a difficult period right now with the transitioning and all the unknown aspects, but we're really taking it one day at a time, and that's the most that we can do right now.
Speaking of social distancing, I know it can be really hard, but I've seen online that people have been really creative and doing things that have been pushed off to do for so long, like tie-dyeing, eating healthy, working out. Some people take this time as an excuse to come out, which I think is ridiculous. So I've seen a lot of people actually walking their dog and jogging in the morning, and I highly recommend not to do that. I heard that the virus actually can live on the ground for up to 3 days, so you never know where you're gonna get corona. And in California, I think 2 to 3 days ago, there was a case of non-travel patients. So now we really don't know where we can get this, and symptoms don't even arise after a few days and few weeks. So people should really take care of themselves, and not just for our sake, but for the sake of others as well. So I'll continue to read some more writings from students, and this one is from Anonymous Junior, double majoring in music composition. To be honest, the virus felt like something both present but also distant, as though I was observing something happening from a lens. I think that was mainly due to the amount of time it took for everything to take action. Even from the very beginning, with cases first popping up in China and overseas, it felt like it took a very long time for America to respond and begin warning its own citizens. And even here at Emory, with our spring break beginning, I heard news from my friends whose classes were being canceled, but it had yet to hit me because Emory hadn't said anything besides that those coming back from level 3 country would have self-quarantine for 2 weeks. And then in the middle of our spring break, when many of us students were in the middle of traveling, we all received an email that spring break is extended and dorm would have to be moved out by the 22nd. Students, especially international students, were sent scrambling in search of flights back home or back to the US, as everything seemed to be happening at once. The US was also shutting down flights from the EU, and students in general were sent into a state of panic and stress. The lens through which it had felt like I had been looking through had been suddenly wrenched away, and it felt much more real. For me personally, as I have off-campus housing, it has definitely been less stressful than friends living on Claremont. I just wish that we had even a semblance that online courses would be a strong possibility and that moving out would be a possibility instead of an email in the middle of the break. Even before break, the notion of online classes was just a rumor spread among students, with some asking professors for confirmation that they wouldn't receive. So during my spring break, I also received a text from my brother who goes to Michigan, and he said his classes were already has already begun online, and he asked me whether I have started mine yet. And he's an art student, so he had a lot of concern on how art classes will be conducted, and it is still a very tricky question, and I'm very curious to see what he will say when he come back home in the coming weekend. And yeah, it's definitely a struggle for a lot of students who don't have housing at the moment. So what Emory has done for students who receive financial aid, they gave us $1,000 stipend in case of emergency. So I think that was very generous of Emory to do so. But for those who are on the edge but do not meet the requirement of financial aid, it is rough. Yeah, it's a scary time. Even though the economy is going down and gases are cheaper, a lot of things are going on sales, but unless you have savings, for those who live paycheck by paycheck, it's a difficult time. Yeah. So the following is from Victoria Peng. She's double majoring in economics and psychology. She says, I'm Victoria and I'm from Beijing, China. It was sad to know that this virus originates from my home country when I was thousands of miles away during the outbreak. I couldn't do anything but alert my family in China to protect themselves. I looked up news every day to check the numbers of people who were infected. I was really anxious to see the numbers grew larger and larger. 1 month later, the virus broke out in the United States and even in Georgia overnight. It was the first time I felt this much danger by myself. The masks, disinfectants, and alcohol wipes were all out of stock, and we have to stay home for safety. All of a sudden, the campus was closed and classes were canceled. Everything happened just so fast that I didn't even realize what was going on. My panic reached a peak when 2 cases were confirmed in the building next to mine. Stepping out of my room became a great challenge for me. I have gotten used to the situation now, but I still feel anxious and disappointed about all the losses. Another great challenge I faced is racism towards Chinese and even Asians in this critical period. I feel mad when other people call it Chinese virus and when people give me a strange look when I wear the mask. Last week, when I wore the mask and walked on the street, a woman came to me and asked me, "Did you get the coronavirus?" Are you serious? I felt extremely offended but could not defend myself and just walked away. I believe this situation might happen to many Asian friends. It is important to know that wearing a mask is just for protection, and it benefits not only yourself but all the other people and even the country. I really hope every citizen can start to attach importance to this virus and make some difference. At least start by wearing the mask. Yeah, I don't know what's the problem in America. I think the situation has gotten a lot more publicized. Now people are aware of the seriousness of this virus. So I see a lot more people wearing the mask. But even until last week, people were super scared that those who were wearing masks could transmit some kind of disease, and they looked at you like an alien. And that is just not acceptable, people. Not acceptable. This is one of the last readings that I will do from Riley Schwab. She is a senior, double majoring in Psych and Linguistic and Chinese Studies. She said, as a graduating senior, there are 2 things that really stick out to me about how Emory handled the situation. The first is the lack of understanding they had for the seniors who were graduating. Granted, moving to online classes, being kicked out of dorms, etc. sucks for everyone. But for us seniors, there's no chance to come back and see friends or explore the areas and make memories. When Emory recently announced that we have no commencement, it hurt. Which brings me to my second point. Emory has not been delivering information in a timely fashion. When Emory announced we would have to leave our dorms, they said further information would come in a couple of days, which added to the panic and shock. When Emory canceled commencement, they offered no information on what they would do to make it up for the seniors. They are especially bad with information pertaining to money. The information they gave out about refunds was delayed, and they still haven't mentioned a refund for my cap and gown I never used. What it really comes down to is a student shouldn't be having to brainstorm ways to get our graduating experience. Emory should be doing that. For example, we have a petition going on to hold commencement in a different month. But why should we be having to petition for that? Commencement for college isn't something only some are offered. It's something every college offers for every student. Yeah, oh seniors, my heart goes out to you. I feel really, really terrible. I have a lot of senior friends, and you know, as we kept reading about all these senior testimonies, it is very hard during this time for them, because everything just seems like a waste. You know, they've done all these things. Yes, like it was for our benefits and we did it for the sake of our education, but you know, as she said, like, I wonder what other colleges are doing in regards to this situation. Yeah, you know, there has been a lot of memes saying that the commencement will be held online with like animated, you know, clapping motions and things like that. And there's like the Minecraft version, which cracked me up. But yeah, I feel so bad. And yeah, she brought up a good point. Information pertaining to money. I don't know how much. So Emory did send us an email saying that we will get our housing, and there's something called dually dollars, which we use as a meal swipe, that we will get it back. But some students are really worried that Emory is not going to give us the full amount that is remaining. And regarding that, we haven't received information, and it is very vague. So I get where the anxiety comes from, because a lot of people do need that extra cash in their pocket at this moment. So the following video is from Harrison Bloom. He is double major in creative writing and film studies. So here is his story.
So it's funny, you know, hearing about the news going on as what I like to call the corona apocalypse keeps just escalating. Roy Disney's granddaughter, Roy Disney co-founded Disney. Obviously the park was closed, and on the day it closed, Roy Disney's granddaughter commented that she was upset that so many people were gathering together to watch the final fireworks show at Magic Kingdom. And I agree that it was probably irresponsible of them to do that, to get in that large crowd, but selfish me, it would be hypocritical of me to say I didn't see where those people were coming from gathering there, because I was at the Magic Kingdom show the night I learned classes were going online. It was wonderful. I was, you know, on spring break with some friends, and I was, you know, watching the fireworks show, like really high in spirits, thinking, oh, humanity can accomplish anything, we can overcome any problem. And then my fraternity brother, he turns to me and says, yeah, you might want to check your email. So, I mean, reading it, the first thing that went through my mind was purely selfish things, like, oh my god, I'm not going to be able to see my girlfriend for several months, I'm not going to be able to work anymore on campus, all of my plans for the summer might be out the window, because that was also through Emory. And so really the challenge for me is just deciding what to do next. I can't say it's been as hard for me as for other people. I can only imagine just how people who are, you know, in lower income brackets or are international students, I can't imagine how they feel. They're probably just, their whole worlds just must be completely turned upside down. As for me, it was just a matter of getting, you know, cleaning out my dorm and, you know, going back home to New Jersey. It wasn't great leaving Emory. You know, being forced to leave so quickly, it just makes you realize how many things you have yet to do. You know, friends you haven't seen in a while, who you were just itching to text one day, see how they were doing. You know, projects I was working on that suddenly seemed so far away. You know, appointments I needed to make, people I needed to see for classes, it's just completely out the window. But you have to sort of deal with it, right? Because there's nothing you can do. This is completely out of your control. It's a larger problem. The great thing is I have discovered just how wonderful the Emory student community is. You know, the professors, I'm sure, are doing their best to make up their new curricula, and try to just hold the school together. But like, the students have just been so kind online. You know, I got out of school almost immediately, like within a few days of the announcement. But people were asking me, "Yo, do you need help? I could store your stuff. I could help you unpack. I could drive with you. I could do whatever." And it was just so kind. I just realized that, like, Emory's students really do look out for one another. And it's something I didn't necessarily appreciate before. It sucks. I'm not going to see my senior friends, at least not for a while, probably. It sucks that they're not going to get their graduation. But for me, it's just a matter of keeping going, you know? You just gotta stay the course and try to figure out how classes are going to work. I don't think they're going to work. I think they're going to barely give us an education. I think that I think the professors aren't prepared for this. I don't think the school is prepared for this. Mostly, I'm just trying to plan for next year, plan for the summer. I had a study abroad program through Emory, one that would get me an internship. So that was lined up more or less for the summer. Not everything was final, but I had already applied. I was in the program. And now I have no idea if it's going to happen. I'm assuming it's not. I was going to go away to Dublin. Doesn't seem like the worst place to go in terms of the virus spreading. And obviously it's in the summer. It's not during this season. But it just seems like I wouldn't be surprised if Emory just shot the program down out of fear. Just out of pure fear. Even though it's probably not even going to be a problem a few months from now. I don't think... I can't say for sure, but... it's just a shame. I'm really worried that this whole thing is going to pass and I'm going to be left with nothing to do for the summer. That I'm not going to have a job. I'm just going to be staying at home. But once again, that's just a minor problem. It's just a small consequence of all that's been going on. Mostly, I think we all just want people to be safe. And that is the one thing that's good about, you know, the evacuation of the universities, that everybody's going to be in their homes, adjusting and hopefully waiting out this virus during the incubation period of 2 weeks in their homes. So this has been really rambly. I just hope everybody realizes that, you know, it's not over. You know, obviously seniors in college are sort of being gypped out of an awesome final semester, but you know, college is just one part of life, and we all have a chance to continue onwards and make the most of any situation. So if you're at home with your family or just alone, please stay safe, please keep living on, and please know that we're here for you, that we're all in this together.
And lastly, we have a recording from Anonymous Senior, so please enjoy.
Hi, so I'm currently a senior at Emory University, and this whole experience has just been so unbelievable. It's been so hard just because there's been so many things that could have gone better. As a senior, literally being robbed of my last 2 months, it's been just crazy. All the things that I could have done to prepare for the last 2 months of college has almost been robbed from me. This is extremely privileged, and I understand that there are people that are literally dying from the virus. However, it is really sad to see that my last 2 months of college has just been gone. And Currently, I have family that is dealing with it right now, but it has also been hard on me in a school situation. Something I'm really grateful is that I have had wonderful experience of meeting so many great people that are willing to help, and a lot of them have offered me their cars so I can drive myself to different storage units or different places. I'm currently staying at a friend's house so that I am not exposed to the virus compared to a lot of other people that may not have this. And I'm also going home next week, and I know a lot of people don't have the privilege of going back home, and I'm extremely grateful to be able to have a home to go back to. However, there are certain things that I'm very upset about. One of the things being that Emory did not let us know ahead of time what they were planning to do, but instead told us a date that we had to leave by, and it was extremely shocking when I came back from my spring break to realize that all of my things had to be packed up and moved and out of the way. So it was something that I'm still shocked about. However, Emory University has done its best. Like, they have hired people to help clean up, help people to help move, and that has been extremely helpful. Right now, as of today, they sent out an email saying that they would attempt to reimburse housing, dining dollars, and any other fees that we may have that we weren't able to use due to us being kicked out of our housing. And all we can really do now is look forward to what there's left. This is my last memory at Emory, and it's extremely sad that things are happening this way, but I'm hoping to look more positively towards things, and hopefully everything will be okay.
So these are all the stories and anecdotes of what students have been going through in the midst of troubles, and I would like to share a piece of what my family has been going through. So my dad, he got laid off from his job 2 days ago. We were taken by surprise because he just joined the company and he was actually really enjoying the job, and the company said that it is unfortunate that they have to lay off everybody who has not been with the company for 6 months, which includes my dad. So he was laid off, and my mom, she started to find a new job and she went on the interview and stuff like that. I just wanted to share this to give encouragement to those who are going through the same thing. I know it's a very hard time for a lot of us, but we still gotta look on the bright side, and I think there's a purpose to everything, and I don't know what God might tell us through these disasters, and we will become the witness of a great thing that will come out of this. And honestly, I've seen so many beauty that has came out of this. People are honestly nicer. I've never seen that much humanitarian work ever in my life, and it's kind of sad that we need this traumatic experience to bring that out of us. And the environment's been blooming, and it is beautiful to see China has cleared their sky, and how Italy, their canals are now fresh and clean. There are definitely some benefits to it, and we now understand that a lot of work and even school could be done online, although I don't know how online classes will be, so I'll update you guys on that in the coming weeks. Please stay informed, wear your masks if you were to go out, wash your hands, and please just take care of yourself, and just check your body to see if you're okay. Drink lots of water, take vitamin C, stay safe, and I'll see you on the next one. Yours truly.